Good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, traders from across the globe. Thank you for tuning into my 2489th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar. And if you watched my video last night, do I get to take a bow or what? I mean, was that not sick? Oscar gets an Oscar for last night. That was great. So I got in front of this camera last night and I said, listen, this looks like a good old-fashioned Wall Street setup in Dow, bonds, and dollars. Which means, and I told you and showed you in the video and showed you charts, Dow should go down, bonds should go down, dollars should go up, and Wall Street set them up by running Dow up really high first, right? Boom, boom, boom. Ran the bonds up too, and they ran dollars down right before the day of the report. Or I should say the day of the Fed raising rates. Powell, the Fed comes out and raises rates today, Jerome Powell, and what happens? Bonds are dropping, dollar is rallying, stock market is cracking. What more could you ask for? Now that is perfect analysis. Traders, I don't know what positions you may have taken today, but make sure you put stops in when you trade. You see the volatility, right? If you were watching markets today, the volatility was insane. I have a rule. We do not trade financial markets on the day the Fed is going to raise or lower rates. So we bought soybeans instead and had a great trade, right? That was good. And then we sidestepped it, let the markets go crazy. And tonight we'll do our thing and get back in. So bonds did do exactly what I thought they would do. And the OMNIACs got themselves, or I got them, into a great soybeans trade, but I did a little sneaky bond trade for myself. I sold bonds right at the Omni level, and they just... It was a nice day for me as well. So, and then dollar did rally up, which created the whole rest of this mix on the board. So analysis is firing on all 8 cylinders. Let's call it 12 cylinders. It's 12 cylinders, like the good old days when a Jaguar used to have 12 cylinders. Remember those days? And, of course, the only other car that ever really used to sport a 12-cylinder, of course, is the Rolls-Royce, right? So at one point in time, those were the only 2 cars that had 12 cylinders, and, boy, they ran like tops. Well, we've got analysis, technical analysis, just running like a well-oiled machine, like a car with 12 cylinders. So I hope it continues because the Omni is red for trading in the Dow. It is red for trading bonds. And, of course, it's green for dollars, but we wouldn't be buying dollars. We'd be trading another vehicle instead. Make sure you join me at livewithoscar.com. I will be there live again tomorrow like I was, of course, all day today. And I'll do some more live streaming, most likely tomorrow. That was fun today. We went over a lot of charts. We had 400 or 500 people there. It was great. So we'll do that again tomorrow, as long as, I find the time for it. I'm there every day, but sometimes I get a little busy. But I'll try to stream. Anyway, enough of that. The purpose of this video is to show you those charts and get you ready for tonight and tomorrow. So remember 2 things. 1, always put those stops in. Never trade without them. And 2, say this to yourselves over and over again when you trade, because believe me, when the markets are going against you, it's a tough, tough thing. You need to keep your emotions out of your decisions. One of the ways, besides tying myself up in a knot, one of the ways I do that is to say this to myself over and over again. And by now, you should know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Rock and roll, traders. Make sure you use that mantra. And now, let's go look at some charts. Traders, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the good old-fashioned Wall Street setup. This is where we were on Tuesday's close. Wednesday is the day, of course, today, the day that just took place, that the Fed was going to raise rates, and the market was supposed to drop. So here's where we were, and that is what happened, right? So far, so good. Just like it was scripted. Check this out. It stopped cold at the line, came all the way down to here today. And each time we've gotten up here, that's been the fate. And once again, that was the fate on Wednesday. So that worked exactly as we expected it to, as we predicted it would in the video last night. Dow Jones Transportation Average, I showed you this same chart and I said, here's where we are. This is my chart masterpiece. Why? Because it shows you what's been programmed into the short-term algorithms lately. That when you get near this average, something major will happen, right? So we know that that's a case. What do? They rally it right up to that average for the day of a Fed hike. What else does it do? It gets right to the top of this channel. At the same time, without the channel, it fails. With the channel on top of it, then of course this channel now turns into a bear flag. This being your flagpole, this being your flag. So back to the beginning, this is where it was, and look at what happened. Just like it was supposed to go, right? Look at the way the market just dropped from that average. Boom. Only spent 1 day or a day and a half above the red line, and down we go. So the OMNI was right, the analysis was right, and we're going further tomorrow. That's why I'm showing you these charts. Then we had the 30-year bonds, and if you recall, I said every time we get here, it's the kiss of death, right? You get to that average and that red line, and it is just the kiss of death. All right, so look at how many times they run it up right into a Fed meeting. Really? So, of course, I even took advantage of it yesterday. I went short, or I should say today on Wednesday, because that is what happened so far. And bonds are down another 20 as I speak. So, go bonds, go analysis, rock and roll. And then you've got this behind that. Look, that dollar. They did the same thing but opposite. They ran the dollar down, which usually goes up. Fed meeting, dollar's all the way back up here, and it's already up higher tonight. So that is analysis working on all 8 cylinders, even when Wall Street tries to pull off one of those, they did their little setup, if you will, their evil little setup. Well, even then the charts will tell you what's going to happen. You just have to know how to read them. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Please join me at livewithoscar.com and be sure to subscribe to these videos.